Good evening and welcome to Pekin Memorial Stadium here in Pekin, Illinois, which will play host to a high-powered Mid-Illini Conference matchup between the Metamora Redbirds and the state-ranked Pekin Dragons. The Dragons come into this one at 5-0 on the year with state title aspirations. Metamora 3-2 coming into this contest. They've been more consistent this year, and they're hitting their stride at the perfect time, which will set the stage for tonight's great battle. And hello, welcome to the broadcast. Alongside me is Thatcher Zaleski. I'm Jonathan Michael. Thank you for spending your Friday evening with us. And Thatcher, a great atmosphere is always here at Pekin. It's homecoming weekend. The stands are full. It is just going to be a great place for a football game tonight.
Yeah, this is a big rivalry matchup here, and considering it is homecoming weekend, I expect the crowds on both sides to be pretty packed and lively here tonight.
And for Pekin, their fans feel like it's their year at 5-0. A lot of good things going for the team this year, but last year, Metamora was in the exact same spot that Pekin was in. After week 5, they were undefeated as well before losing their last 5 games of the season. So this year, Metamora's looked more consistent. Pekin is looking to not suffer the same fate that their Mid-Illini counterparts did last year.
Yeah, Pekin definitely has shown more consistency than Metamora did towards the end of the stretch last year, and injuries also played a key part in why Metamora fell a little short, but I don't think Pekin will face the same fate.
Certainly, and for Pekin, a lot of people talk about their offense, Kanye Tyler and Tanner Sprecher, but how about their defense, Thatcher? It's headed by his senior defensive lineman, Braden Beckham.
Yeah, Braden Beckham has probably been the highlight of this defense so far this year, but that shouldn't take the focus away from the impressive secondary who has 7 interceptions through the first 5 games here.
As for Metamora, the guy to watch is Caden Hartnett, their quarterback. He's rushed for over 200 yards in the last game, and the Redbirds are hitting their stride. We'll be back for more highlights, analysis, and live game coverage here of Metamora and Pekin. Hello and welcome again to Pekin Memorial Stadium. We're just moments away from kickoff. The Pekin Dragons are running out of their inflatable dragon tunnel. The crowd is on their feet. Lots of fans over in the Metamora section as well. This should be a barn burner of a Mid-Illini contest football game tonight, folks. Again, thanks for joining us. Alongside me is Thatcher Zaleski. I'm Jonathan Michael. And Thatcher, we talked a little bit about this game. It's going to be a huge game because Metamora is looking to keep momentum after winning 2 in a row. Their offense is looking great. Pekin, on the other hand, looking for another big win and trying to hope to continue their undefeated season.
Yeah, Pekin is definitely the favorite to win this conference. They're looking like a strong contender. Metamora has been really picking things up as of late. After a slow start to the year, they've now won 2 in a row, like Jonathan mentioned, showing some consistency that lacked after starting 5-0 last year, and then they lost their next consecutive 5 games to fall to 500.
For sure, and looking at the keys to this game, Thatcher, for Metamora, it's the low man wins. You got to tackle these Pekin Dragons. They're very elusive and very tough on offense, so you can't have any broken tackles. And also for the Redbirds, it's the run revolution. Obviously, they have Cameron Davis and Mark Frederick, a sophomore, in the backfield, but also they have quarterback Caden Hartnett as well.
Yeah, Caden Hartnett really showed he can run the ball really well last week, rushing for 4 touchdowns with over 200 yards, kind of like Lamar Jackson-esque there. And the run game is definitely going to be a huge part of this game for both sides, as Pekin has senior Kanye Tyler, who is their star player and star running back.
Kanye Tyler and Tanner Sprecher headline the Dragons. The keys for them is to hold the line. For Metamora, they have one of the best offensive linemen in the area, Ben Wallace at left tackle. And again, with that Metamora ground game, if they can withstand the pressure from the offensive line, Pekin could be looking good as well. And also, the last key for Pekin is cleared for takeoff. Last week was a pretty not so nice of a weather for football, is one way to put it. A lot of rain on the field. Pekin only threw the ball 11 times. Looking for Scotty Jordan and the Dragons to do more of that coming up. As the players taking the field, Pekin will receive the opening kick. Kanye Tyler back deep to return.
Pekin's going to look to start things hot off for their home crowd here, receiving the kickoff.
Tyler, the ever dangerous return man, running back. He's also a free safety as well, and pretty darn good at it too. He has offers to play for Illinois State. Metamora coming into this game after beating Morton and Canton. They're now tied for second in the Mid-Illini at 2-1. Pekin undefeated, ranked number 5 in Class 7A, and 5-0, 3-0 in the Mid-Illini. And we are away at Pekin Memorial Stadium. Kick goes deep, return from about the 10, and the Dragons have a lane up to about the 30.
Solid return there for Pekin as they get up about to around the 30-yard line there. Good field position to start for them.
70 yards to go to the end zone for the Dragons. That's where they'll start. Pekin offense is averaging 36 points per game this year. Again, very diverse options with Scotty Jordan and at quarterback, wide receiver Bo Benassi, and Tyler and Sprecher in the backfield. Let's Sprecher in the backfield to start. Jordan will hand it off to him, and he has an open hole right away. Sprecher makes a move, and he's across the 50. Big play across the 40, still on his feet down, almost to the 30-yard line. This crowd is on their feet going wild. How about that to start the drive for the Pekin Dragons?
What an impressive run there from Sprecher. He found those holes that the line created for him, and he got right up the field, putting him right on the other 30-yard line there.
Tanner Sprecher, decidedly kind of the power running back for Pekin. Kanye Tyler is kind of the elusive back in open field, but Sprecher really showed it off there.
Yeah, he really powered through those defenders there. Probably gained an extra like 5 to 10 yards weaving through and just getting around those Metamora defenders.
Here's a injured Dragon down on the field.
Looks like there's a penalty. There was a penalty on the play.
Looks like it, Thatcher, and Pekin is marching further towards the end zone, so it looks like that call will go against Metamora. Did not see what it was. Looks like that is rather a Metamora player being helped off the field right now.
That was the downfall for Metamora last year, their injuries, and after two straight wins, you have an injury on the first play of the game is not a very good look there for Metamora, hoping to continue their hot stride.
Yeah, that was Cole Cowper, the lineman that plays two ways for Metamora, being helped off the field. But you said it, Thatcher, Metamora dealt with injuries to their quarterback, Connor Willerton, last year. As Jordan hands it off, and he is wrapped up right away. That was Ben Wallace. We mentioned him right before the game, Thatcher. He's going to be a force on both lines tonight.
Yeah, Pekin tried going back to the run there after it was successful for the first drive of the game, but blown up very quick by Ben Wallace, who is probably the key player on the defense for Metamora.
Handoff goes to Tyler. He's run out of bounds at about the 20-yard line or so. And I'll bring up a 3rd and about 2 or 3.
Yeah, another run there for Pekin, as that's probably going to be their focus of the offense today.
The Dragons only threw it 11 times last week. Scotty Jordan completed 3 of those passes for just 18 yards. But Thatcher, we were out in Dunlap last week. We obviously weren't at the Pekin and Morton game, but it was pretty sloppy conditions. It was really tough to hold on to the football, and you can't really blame Pekin for running it so many times last week.
Yeah, and Pekin has a pretty successful run game, so you can't really put any blame on them with those weather conditions. It's just better to take the safe bet and go with what you know will work.
We'll see if this works for Pekin. As Tyler up the gut. He's very close to the first down, and initial looks like he may have it.
See what the refs call here.
From this angle up in the press box, it looks about even. Still waiting on the official call. Chain gang has not moved. And the dial it down says 4. It'll be 4th and very short. Jordan tries to draw them off sides, unsuccessful. And head coach Doug Nutter for Pekin calls the audible.
See if they go with another run here. They've yet to pass the ball.
Jordan will keep it on the option.
Oh, well,
gets down to the 10. Only 2 yards, but that's all he needed.
yeah, that short run there will be just enough to gain them the first down. You know, Pekin continues to just push the offense up the field with the run game here.
Dragons have moved the ball about 65 yards in 4 plays. Started off by the big run from Tanner Sprucker for those of you just tuning in. First and goal for the Dragons. Jordan, the quarterback, with Tyler in the backfield. Fakes to give. Jordan up the gut. He's close to the end zone. No signal. He's in. 6 for the Dragons. It's Scotty Jordan with the QB keeper. He can get it done with his legs too, and Pekin with the early strike.
The impressive keeper there by Scotty Jordan. Keeps it on that play and pushes it and drives it up the middle. Found a open hole created by the line, and that will get them the 6 points to put them up early here in this game.
Wiley Hansen on for the extra point. High snap, but able to recover. And the Dragons tack on the point after touchdown. That makes it 7-2. Gotta like that opening drive if you're head coach Doug Nutter and Pekin, Thatcher.
Yeah, for sure. Head coach Doug Nutter there calling only run plays, and you know, it seems to be successful. We'll see if that will be the case going forward in this game, if the run will continue or if we will see QB Scotty Jordan start to air it out a little bit.
They kept it on the ground a lot in that drive. We'll see how Metamora responds. The Redbirds, they're playing pretty well offensively this year. They've averaged 46 points their last 2 games and wins over Morton and Canton. And that gets them up to 3-2 on the year.
Yeah, those 2 wins were definitely a big turning point in the season for Metamora, as they start off pretty slow, but those 2 wins are hoping to kick their season into a new gear and really get them back to the top of the Mid-Illini Conference.
Take a quick look at our Upstream scoring drive. 5 plays for the Pekin Dragons, 70 yards, and took 5 minutes and 54 seconds off the clock. I want to thank Upstream for being one of our great sponsors tonight. Kick is away for the Dragons. Brought in at the 25-yard line. Looks like that was Frederick bringing it out. Short return, nice coverage there by Pekin special teams.
Yeah, I really like that kick there by Pekin. Kind of had to force the Metamora returner to move over a little bit and kind of get out of position, which could have cost them a few yards there.
I want to take a quick break to remind you that tonight's broadcast is brought to you by our good friend Zach Butler, State Farm in Pekin. Give him a phone call at 309-347-3115 or visit sfbutler.com. And also our other great sponsors at State Farm as well, Jody Brown in Peoria and Jake Weston in Washington. Their phone numbers and websites are there on the screen. Don't hesitate to give them a call or visit them online for auto, home, or life. Contact your good neighbors at State Farm. Metamora begins their drive at the 30-yard line, so same starting field position that the Dragons had on their opening drive. Hartnett, the quarterback, takes the snap, hands off to Cameron Davis, and he's brought down by a whole den of Dragons. That play will go for negative yardage, and it looked like, Thatcher, that Braden Beckham, their all-conference pick from last year, was in on that tackle.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, Braden Beckham will be the star of this defense, be the focus point of making sure that defense is successful here tonight, as Metamora will probably look to run the ball a lot, just like Pekin.
For Metamora, we mentioned it, they're probably going to run a lot, but if they do so, they're going to have to give him different looks, and this one is going nowhere. Beckham again brings down Davis. 2 big plays right in a row from the senior. How about that to energize this home crowd?
Yeah, Beckham really just blew through that offensive line there and got that tackle for loss there and bringing down the running back. really this home crowd has to be loving this performance so far.
The home stands are almost packed to the gills. I don't see many open seats, Thatcher, and that's no small feat. This is one of the highest capacity stadiums in the Mid-Illini Conference. So if you're not at Pekin Memorial Stadium or watching on Clutch Sports IL, not sure what you're doing. 3rd and long for the Redbirds. Hartnett with the keeper. He has an open space. He's got a first down. Hartnett may be free, but he is brought down right around midfield. 3rd and 16. And how about the Redbirds quarterback, Caden Hartnett, showing what he did last week?
Yeah, Hartnett just picking up where he left off last week with that impressive run. Keeps it there as their handoffs were not working. Beckham was just blowing those through, and seems like Metamora has found something that they can potentially stick with for the rest of this game.
Definitely a different look there. Hartnett rushed 231 yards and 4 touchdowns last week in their win over the Canton Little Giants. And he will keep it here. Another fake to Davis. Mid-sized gain there. That'll bring up a 2nd and manageable. A little bit better than 2nd and long after their first series.
Yeah, another nice little run there by Hartnett, getting them into some good field position. So far, this drive has been a better one, starting off better for them so far.
It'll be officially 2nd and 7 from their own 47 or 48-yard line.
Definitely manageable here. Still lots of clock to play with.
So wide receiver opening the slot for Hartnett, who fumbles the football. He regains it, and he'll make a positive gain on this. Hartnett freed on the sideline. Are you kidding me?
Wow, Hartnett recovers, no pressure there, does not phase him, and he picks it up and gets a nice run there to get Metamora upfield.
Metamora, they had a wide receiver wide open in the slot, wasn't really being covered too well. I think Hartnett saw that, maybe was looking to pass it too early, got too ahead of himself, dropped the football, but was able to make a gain of about 27 out of that as the Redbirds take 1st and 10 from the Pekin 25. No shortage of big plays early in this one.
Yeah, that probably shocked the defense a little bit.
Hartnett will hand off to his running back. That's Frederick. He's not going anywhere. That tackle made by Shimon Handigan.
As it seems like Metamora has only seen success with their running game through quarterback Caden Hartnett there. Not been able to move the ball upfield much with their actual running backs.
Credit this out there actually to Erxelben, the sophomore linebacker. I'll bring up a 2nd and about 10. And for Pekin, Thatcher, their defense has been tested this year. They found themselves in some close contests against both Dunlap and Morton, but it's that bend-don't-break defense that's been holding up for them. We'll see how it does here. Davis again going nowhere. This defensive line by Pekin is having a field day in the first couple minutes of this one.
Yeah, might be time to switch up the offensive game plan here, as the running backs aren't gaining much momentum as the Pekin defensive line just keeps shutting things down here.
Interestingly enough, both of Metamora's big plays, they've came after running off to the left side. That's where Ben Wallace, the future college player at Illinois State, he's committed there, plays at left tackle. Wallace, a senior, stands at 6'5", 300 pounds. Hartnett will keep here. He'll run to the left, but that's Erxelben again in on the stop. This Pekin crowd is loving the performance by their defensive unit so far.
Yeah, this Pekin defense has been quite impressive early on here. Metamora's run game just not doing as much as we might thought they have. After an impressive run from Caden Hartnett, there hasn't really been much of anything from this offense.
The 2 big runs from Hartnett are the main reason why the Redbirds still have the football. 3rd and 4 as the Pekin crowd roars to life. This will be the first pass play of the game. Possibly Hartnett scrambles, shovel pass. Looked like it was incomplete. Either way, was not going to go across the sticks. That'll bring up a 4th down And I'd rather make that a turnover on downs there. Looks like that ball may have been fumbled, actually. Tough angle to see here up in the press box, but the Dragons recovered that. Shovel pass. And there were a couple Dragons right there ready to take it away. So Pekin back on offense now with just under 4.5 to go.
Yeah, Pekin's defense definitely seems like this will be the key point of who wins this game, as defense just shutting down the Metamora offense early on.
His handoff goes to Tyler. He's up across the 40, so a big play there.
As Tyler just trucked his defender to gain a couple extra yards there. Impressive run there from Tyler.
Kanye Tyler last week against Morton ran 16 times for 115 yards and a touchdown. He's been, for the last couple years, he has been one of the best, if not the best, running back in the area. Also good free safety as well. So if he goes to Illinois State next year, or he does have an offer, it'll be exciting to see where he plays. This goes to Sprecher for minimal gain.
Yeah, Sprecher's kind of more the power back here, just pushing up the field and hoping to gain those extra few yards to get Pekin into a better field position. And then Tyler takes over and cleans it up to get those big plays.
One thing to watch is this Metamora defensive line. They have a lot of experience. 3 seniors and Max Largent, Tyler Kasab, Drew Hansen, Adam Sloan will mix in as well. As Jordan will pass out to the outside, Tyler brings it in at the 45, and a nice solo tackle on Tyler. Not something that's easy to do. That was Gavin O'Laughlin, the junior cornerback, on the tackle.
I believe that was actually the first pass of this game here, as the whole game has been on the ground so far. Pekin deciding to air it out and hoping and gains them a couple yards, as they're now 3rd and 3. See if they continue the passing game here, if they go back to the run, as Tanner Sprecher in the backfield.
Tyler in motion. Jordan, the screen passes blocked, but he catches it. No way. Jordan brought down for a huge loss of 20. There is a group, the entire defensive line had their hands up. They made a brick wall. Jordan's pass couldn't get over it. He caught his own pass.
Might have thought there Jordan might have been better off just letting that pass drop, as ended up a big loss for Pekin, as now they'll be forced to punt the ball away here.
Certainly a big switch in field position, because you're right, Thatcher. If Jordan just lets that ball go, Pekin is punting from the 45-yard line. Maybe Luke Goss, their punter, can pin one deep, but instead, this one will be from their own 27. Punt is away, line drive. Takes a Pekin bounce, brought in at the 38. That looks like that is Hartnett. He's across the 50. Big hit on the sideline. Ooh. Hello.
Hartnett
we'll
there.
See if this elicits a flag. Physical play. Looks like Hartnett was not quite out of bounds, so no laundry on the field yet, but how about that hit there?
Yeah. Hartnett returns that there. Is good punt from Luke Goss there. Now, we mentioned on the last play that maybe Goss would have had a better punt, put Metamora more far back there, but now Metamora at about the 50-yard line, midfield. Good field position. Oh, there was a flag on the play.
That foul will go against the Dragons, so late call there to throw the penalty flag. So this will put Metamora in plus territory.
Even better field position for Metamora here, as now that deflected pass there is now looking even a bigger impact on this game, with Metamora being put in this good field position, basically right where they left off on the last drive.
Great field position for Metamora and great opportunity, although this Pekin Dragons defense isn't giving them much to do with it. Looks like that was
Cameron Hodgson there with a nice tackle there, bringing down the running back.
I'll bring up a 2nd and 9 for Metamora. Again, Hartnett's been their guy on offense, but so far no one else has really stepped up. Again, credit this Pekin defensive line. Braden Beckham already having a monster game if you're just tuning in.
Yeah, this run game outside of Hartnett has not been successful for Metamora so far.
2nd and 9. Hartnett will hand off to the sophomore running back Frederick, and this may be the biggest non-Hartnett run of the night. He gets down to the 20-yard line, so a gain of 14 for the sophomore, who really exploded in their Week 3 loss against Washington.
Yeah, nice impressive run there by Frederick. Got through found a hole and just capitalized on it, gaining the first down there for Metamora.
Redbirds, it's their first snap in the red zone at Pekin's 20-yard line. 3 wide receivers for Hartnett. And Hartnett keeps it, although Pekin was ready for it. Short gain there, maybe 1 or 2.
The defensive line there just swallowed that play up, like they've been doing pretty much this whole game against Metamora's run offense there.
Time ticking away here at the end of quarter number 1. Pekin leading 7-0. The lone score coming on a 5-yard quarterback keeper from Scotty Jordan. And as time ticks away here in the first quarter, we'll take a quick break to remind you that tonight's broadcast is sponsored by Uftring.
In stock 22s, inbound 23s, fresh trade-ins. Score the upgrade you've always wanted during the Total Sales Blitz at every Uftring Auto Group dealer. New inventory is in stock and inbound, and we're taking custom orders every day. UfteringAutoGroup.com.
Welcome back to tonight's broadcast here on Clutch Sports IL. Thank you, Uftring, for sponsoring tonight's broadcast. Also want to give a big shout out to our great sponsor, Zach Butler, State Farm, right here in Pekin. For all your insurance needs, auto, home, or life, give him a call at 309-347-3115 or visit his website at sfbutler.com. And not just Zach Butler, also want to thank our other great sponsors as well, like Jody Brown in Peoria. Give her a call at 309-693-1103 or at jodybrown.agency.com. Or if you're near Washington, hit up our boy Jake Weston. Give him a call at 309-444-4441 or visit jakewestoninsurance.com. It'll be 2nd and 9 for Metamora, scoreless in the first quarter, and Pekin's got to be really happy about that, given Metamora's hot streak on offense really exploded in the last 2 weeks, Thatcher.
Yeah, Metamora put up 53 points last week, or 54, my mistake, in a big win again over Canton, and that momentum so far hasn't seemed to carry over into this game. However, Pekin's defense has only allowed 25 or more points only once this year, so proving that this will be a tough game for them against this tough Pekin defense.
That pass from Hartnett was incomplete. He was looking in the end zone for his receiver, but that will bring up a 3rd and 9, so it's maybe 4-down territory for Metamora. Obviously too close to the end zone to punt.
That might have been, I think that was the first official passing attempt from Metamora there. They had that weird shovel pass thing, but
now it's 3rd and 9 for Metamora. Hartnett gives to his running back Davis. He is going nowhere. That was Handigan, Hoover, and a couple other Dragons in on the stop. That'll bring up a 4th and long. And this Dragons defense continues to show that they are bending but not breaking. Metamora probably forced to throw here, although we'll see what Hartnett and the rest of the Redbirds orchestrate.
If I was the coach of Metamora here, I would be looking to pass that ball. The run game hasn't been effective so far.
3 wide receiver set. Hartnett rolls out, gets a block from his right tackle. Hartnett looking for the end zone, is incomplete. Is looking there for Noah Simmons.
Deflected by Cameron Hodgson there.
Hodgson, a big part of this Pekin secondary that you mentioned in the open, Thatcher, has 7 picks on the year. Aiden Houston leads the group with 3, and Connor Drowns has 2. But Pekin forces a stop, and they will take over at their own 20-yard line. Their defense has been rock solid here tonight.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier that the focus will be on the D-line here, but the secondary is also really effective for Pekin with those 7 interceptions in 5 games.
3 wide receivers for Jordan. Handoff goes to Sprucker. He's got a big hole. Tanner Sprucker, we might as well see you in the end zone. Maybe not quite. He's being chased. He breaks a tackle. We will see you in the end zone, big fella. 80 yards for a touchdown. Tanner Sprucker. This crowd is going crazy. Dragons lead by 2 scores.
Huge run there by Sprucker. Powers through, finds the holes as he is that power back for Pekin, and he powers into the end zone. Sprucker has really been a key contributor so far in this game. He had that big, huge run early on in the first quarter, and now that huge run here to open the second quarter to put Pekin up by 13.
Extra point from Miley Hansen is good. So Pekin takes a 14-0 lead. Gotta be feeling pretty confident if you're the Dragons. Can't get much easier than a 1-play drive. How about that run from Sprucker? Broke a tackle about the 20-yard line. Looked like he was almost out of gas.
Yeah. Sprucker kind of, being that power back, kind of looked he was a little out of juice there at about the 20, but he got that extra, dug deep, and just powered through to get into the end zone, as he knows how important this game is for the Pekin crowd, as it is their homecoming. As my football coach once told me, that there'll be 2 games that you'll remember the most from your high school career, and that is your homecoming game and your last game, and Sprucker wants to make sure he remembers this game.
Great point there, Thatcher. Taking a look quickly at our upstream scoring drive. Pretty simple, just 1 play, 80 yards. Tanner Sprucker does it all. Goes down the field in 14 seconds as the Dragons lead by 2 scores.
Hansen, after just kicking the extra point, will kick off to Metamora here.
Kick from the 40. Hansen, a pretty good leg, a member of the Pekin girls soccer team, made her first tackle of her career against Washington a couple weeks ago. This one sails out of bounds, and Metamora will start in good field position.
Yeah, Metamora are going to have another drive here, starting off in good field position. We'll see if they'll actually be able to capitalize this drive, as the last drive thought maybe those mistakes were going to hurt and cost Pekin, but the defense made sure they didn't there, as stopping Metamora in their tracks.
Ball will be at the 35-yard line after the penalty. So Metamora, who has been out of sorts so far on offense, a anomaly given their recent performance. They've only scored less than 16, well, they haven't scored less than 16 points in the game at all. Their first 2 games of the year against Peoria, which was a forfeit, by the way. Against LaSalle Peru, they scored 16, but since then, they scored a 22, 38, and 54, in large part due to Hartnett, who gives to Frederick, and again he's brought down. Every play, the Pekin Dragon defense is right there at the line of scrimmage. Shimon Handigan again with a big tackle.
I want to give a shout out there to Hayden McCann, as he had a big block that looked like it could have opened up a hole for Metamora, but just didn't quite get there.
That play officially goes nowhere, so that'll bring up a 2nd and 10. Hartnett and the Redbirds have thrown it just 2 times so far today. One of them was fumbled on the reception. Hartnett takes a snap in the shotgun, rolls out to his right, looking for his receiver, just a little bit too tall. He's looking for Simmons, standing at 5'10". So
Simmons was open there on the play, but Hartnett just overthrew it just a tad. As that would have probably been a good gain there, and may have led to a possible red zone catch there, or close to a red zone catch for Metamora.
Simmons had some open field, and Redbirds are discussing what to do here. Simmons, the wide receiver, at the bottom of your screen. Luke Ufile, another wide receiver to watch for Metamora. Redbirds are also without wide receiver Broderick Scher, suffered an injury last week, so he won't be playing today. Hartnett throws, and he was looking for his guy. He almost had Kendrick Schaffer, the 6'3" junior running back. Nothing doing there, though, and a 3 and out for the Pekin defense. They're getting a lot of time to rest on the sideline. They're not being stressed too much when they're on the field.
Yeah, another play that looks like it should have, another pass that should have been completed, as that looked like it went right through the receiver's hands. There's a good pass, good throw there from Hartnett, as he did get some extra time in the backfield. Good blocking from the O-line. Looks like they'll punt it off, as Pekin will,
Formation is moving around here. Pekin looking for the fake. Hartnett takes the snap. What will he do? He'll decide to kick it. He'll just line drive it. And actually takes a good Metamora bounce inside the 30-yard line at the 27. So I don't know if you've ever seen an option punt, folks, but that was certainly it right there. Hartnett executed it to perfection and flips the field pretty decently for the Redbirds defense.
Yeah, probably the thought process behind that was if a hole is open there, take it. If not, punt it away, as that was picked up by John Richmond, the junior.
Pekin will start in their own territory. Their last scoring drive where they started at the 20-yard line. Tanner Sprecher took it 80 yards to the house on the first play of the drive. This one goes to Kanye Teller. Spin cycle. He's across the 40. They still can't bring him down. Almost near the 50. Looks like that may have been Hartnett that brought him down.
As Kanye Tyler is that agile back in the Pekin backfield, as he did a nice spin move, juked out some of the Metamora defenders, kind of got some missed ankle tackles there from Metamora.
Nice handoff for Pekin from the outside. The man in motion, that was Connor Martin, the junior, who's had a handful of carries this year. He's out across the 50 to the 49, but Thatcher, going back to Kanye Tyler, it's almost like watching him play is almost like watching a game that you're playing in Madden. I mean, he can juke you out, spin moves. He has the speed burst button on pretty much at all times. Very hard at running back to stop.
Yeah, he's a quite impressive player to watch. That offensively and defensively does it both very well. Another impressive run there, gaining another good run there for Pekin.
Gavin O'Laughlin, member of the secondary, took him to the lumber yard, laying the wood there. Big hit on Tyler. So nice low hit to bring down the dynamic Pekin running back as approaching the 8-minute mark here of the second quarter. Again, glad you're with us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. It's been a great game so far. Alongside me is Thatcher Zaleski. I'm Jonathan Michael, as Sprecher with the handoff doesn't get to the sticks, but out almost to the 35-yard line. That'll set up a second and manageable.
Yeah, Sprecher, again, like I mentioned earlier, is that power back for Pekin, gaining those yards, just pushing it upfield and hoping to put Pekin in good field position to score. So far, this run game for Pekin has been really effective. Both Sprecher and Tyler contributing both.
This one will go to Tyler, looking to find the outside. Can't quite turn the corner at the 30. It was brought down out of bounds, looked like by Tyler Kasap, but across the 30-yard line, that should move the sticks, and it does. So a methodical drive being put together here by Pekin, and I would certainly do that if I was head coach Doug Netter. Keep this Metamora defense on the field. These middle line games always very competitive, very hard hitting, very physical. So Pekin being able to wear down Metamora certainly may pay dividends for them down the road.
Yeah, it also helps just giving that defense, the Pekin defense, more of a rest on the sideline, as they've been a big part of this game, stopping Metamora and just not letting them get any momentum.
1st and 10 here, and Sprecher isn't really going anywhere. A big nest of Redbirds there on the tackle. That was Kasap and Max Largent making the stop.
Yeah, the pile of Redbirds there just eating up that play and just falling all over the place there and making sure that Pekin doesn't move the ball upfield anymore.
And Metamora, they've struggled to have those big tackles right at the line of scrimmage or after a short gain or even in the backfield that Pekin has had. But as a big stop there, loss of 1 officially as Jordan and Pekin wait for the sign.
The Redbirds are going to need more of those stops if they want to stay in this game.
Jordan will pass. He's got his man Benassi on the far sideline. He holds the ball up proudly saying, look, Scotty, I got it. Inside the 10, big play there. First big pass from Jordan.
Great throw there by Jordan. Saw the separation that his receiver had from his defender and aired it out, and that proves that Pekin doesn't only have to run the ball for the offense to be successful. They can air it out when needed. It's just showcasing that right there on that play.
1st and 10 here, run up the gut. Almost in the end zone, not quite. Looks like that was, not sure who that was on the carry there. Big mess of bodies down near the goal line, but
might have been a keeper there trying to squeeze it in and sneak past the defensive line for a touchdown. Going to be a close goal, almost inches there at the goal line for Pekin here.
2nd and goal. That is Tyler. He's hit with a big hit. Metamora Redbirds come with some assistance to bring him down before the goal line at about the 1. So senior running back almost got in, but Metamora, an inspired effort there. Big hit. And Tyler falls just short of pay dirt.
Yeah, Tyler tried bouncing that to the outside and getting past the Metamora defenders as using his speed to his advantage. But Metamora's defense looks like it's finally coming to fruition here with some big stops.
Even though Pekin's been moving the ball, Metamora has had some good plays on D. Tyler moves to the sideline. No wide receivers for Pekin. Sprecher in the backfield with a fullback. Handoff goes to him. He's close. He may have gotten across. Depends on the call. He's in. Tanner Sprecher gets it in for Pekin. His 2nd touchdown of the night. And Pekin rolling. They're up 20-0. The road to being unbeaten is looking just a little bit easier for the Dragons. This would be a statement win if they can keep this type of play up tonight, Thatcher.
Yeah, Sprecher powered that in, and this would be a statement as this arguably could be Pekin's toughest matchup, and it's just not looking like that here early on as Pekin's already put up 20 points, more than their total over the whole game last week. So they only won 14-7 last week, already scoring 20 points here in the first half.
PAT from Hansen makes it 21, so 3 touchdowns and 3 extra points for the Pekin Dragons, and they're making it look easy here at their home turf on homecoming. Lots of cheers being heard from this home sideline, and I certainly would be cheering it as well if I were a lifelong Dragon fan. A lot of Pekin fans, they've been saying that this is the year for them. And taking a look at the 7A state rankings, Thatcher, you see it Pekin number 5 right there. They're behind St. Rita, Prospect, Hersey up in Arlington Heights. They had a huge win last week. Mount Carmel, obviously, at number 1. Just below them, Wheaton North, St. Charles North, Hononegah, who Pekin lost to in the 2nd round of the playoffs last year. That was the Dragons' only loss in their last 12 games. And then Jacobs and Batavia rounded out as far as 7A goes.
Yeah, that playoff loss definitely seemed to kick something into gear for Pekin, light a fire under them to carry into the next year, as this 5-0 start has definitely shown that.
His kick taken from the 17 by Frederick, and he's brought down. A big hit there. Looked like that was Jordan Howell, the senior, on special teams for Pekin. Now we'll take a quick look at our Uftring scoring drive. 7 plays for the Pekin Dragons, 73 yards that went the distance in 5 minutes and 19 seconds. I want to thank Uftring for sponsoring tonight's broadcast. And also want to thank our good friend Zach Butler, State Farm in Pekin. Give Zach a call for all your insurance needs, auto, home, or life, 309-347-3115, or online at sfbutler.com. And also our other good friends, Jody Brown in Peoria, Jake Weston in Washington. And see their phone numbers or their websites. Give them a visit. As Metamora,
as Braden Beckham just continues to cause disruption in the backfield for Metamora, as he caused Caden Hartnett to be forced out of bounds, as he kind of struggled with receiving that snap, and it just did not lead to any success for the Metamora offense, who has been struggling here early on in this first half.
And they have 4 minutes and 10 seconds left to go before halftime hits. So a score is, I wouldn't maybe say 100% necessary, because you do the second half to get back some points. That's 30 minutes of football. But it seems like the way this game has gone, Thatcher, that Metamora is going to need a response sooner or later, as, again, this play doesn't get back to the original line of scrimmage. And also up another 3rd and long, which Metamora has seen quite frequently here this evening.
Yeah, a score like you mentioned wouldn't be necessary, but it would be pretty significant for Metamora and this offense to gain some momentum, as they will be receiving the ball in the second half. And after having at least one score on the board would be huge to start off that second half, as the deficit wouldn't be as large.
Certainly a bigger margin between these two teams than most would have expected, at least at this juncture of the game. 3rd and 15 from their own 28 is the Redbirds. Hartnett keeps it. He's free down the sideline for a good gain. Won't quite get a first down, but that makes 4th down a little bit easier. And Thatcher, if I'm head coach Jared Grubner, I'm definitely considering going for this. Maybe another keeper for Caden Hartnett, the quarterback.
Yeah, at this point in the game, I feel like you kind of have to go for this. I don't really want to put the ball back in Pekin's hands with this little time left to go in the second half, because they definitely have shown they're able to score quickly, and going down 28-0 in the second half is not very good if you're looking to come back. It's too early still to count out Metamora, but maybe another score might just do that.
I'll bring up a 4th and 6 as Hartnett singles man in motion. That's his tight end. He may have gotten him to jump off sides. That was Erxelben, who hopped but didn't cross the line of scrimmage. Hartnett runs to the sideline. He's close. Got to admire the effort there. He went right through that hit. And judging by the reaction of Braden Hoover, he's jumping and frolicking across the field. That's a big 4th down stop for Pekin. And the Dragons get the ball in plus territory yet again. So their offense scores here again here at Thatcher. Metamora could be looking at a 4-score deficit at halftime.
Yeah, Hartnett gave it his all there to try and get that first down for Metamora, as he's kind of been the only one to get things going for this Metamora offense. However, yet again, another great stop by the Pekin defense.
Metamora takes 2 minutes off the clock, but doesn't cross midfield as Jordan gives to Tyler. And a gain of about 4 or 5 there for the senior running back, as chants of "we can't hear you" start erupting from the Fire Pit Nation student section. One of the louder ones in the Mid-Illini Conference. Thatcher, I'm curious, how was your student section when you were in high school?
My student section in high school, for the first half, was pretty good. They made noise, but my high school team wasn't very good, so they were gone by the second half.
Better things to do on a Friday night. But not tonight, though, at least for the Pekin fans, as Jordan runs out to the 35-yard line. A gain of 2 will make it 3rd and 4, but
yeah, Metamora does look like they have a decent showing from their student section. Lots of red, white, and blue out there. Looks like they're getting a chant going to hopefully rally their team into a big stop.
It's USA night for Metamora, and it looks like neon night for Pekin. I see a couple construction vests and jerseys down there. Pekin, they won the CSM Madness annual tournament for best student section in the area. This one slung out by Jordan. That's Martin. He breaks a tackle at the 20 down to the 21. And that'll fire up the sideline. And a first down. Big play there. First reception of the game for Connor Martin.
Yeah, great catch there from Martin as he gets it upfield for that first down, fights through the Metamora defense. Just this Metamora defense hasn't been as aggressive as the Pekin defense so far in this first half. We'll look to see if that's definitely something to look for in the second half.
First half winding down, and it looks like there'll be a timeout on the field. That one will go to Metamora. They'll burn their first timeout, so they want to make sure that they have all of their birds in a row before the next play as Pekin nears the end zone. Again, I want to take a quick break to remind you that tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Zach Butler State Farm in Pekin. For auto, home, or life, give our friend Zach a call at 309-347-3115 or online at sfbutler.com. And Zach's not the only guy you can call. We have our other good friends, Jody Brown in Peoria and Jake Weston in Washington as well. You can reach Jody at 309-693-1103 or at jodybrown.agency.com. Jake Weston, give him a call at 309-444-4441. I want to thank both of our great sponsors tonight. And that you're looking at the weather here tonight. A very nice night in Pekin. Kickoff temperature was 62. It feels like 62 currently as well. Clear skies, so couldn't really ask for much of a better night here in Pekin.
Yeah, much better night with weather-wise than our last week's game.
As Tyler breaks the tackle, he's in the end zone. 28-0 Dragons. Pekin imposing their will and showing why they are the number 5, maybe even should be higher ranked team in Class 7A.
Another great run there by Tyler, showing off his agility, moving around those Metamora defenders. This is exactly what Metamora did not want to happen, putting the ball right back in Pekin's hands and giving up a score.
Booming extra point there from Miley Hansen. Pekin's female kicker also does great work on their soccer team. A great kicker in her own right as well. She's been extremely accurate on extra points. And Pekin now leads 28-0 with not a lot of time for Caden Hartnett and the Redbirds to try and come back. But you never know. Hartnett is breaking off a couple big runs, but for most of the second quarter, it's been nothing doing.
Yeah. Hartnett mentioned on her podcast that their loss before their last 2 wins definitely lit a fire under their belts, and that was definitely showcased in their last 2 wins. But tonight, outside of Hartnett, that fire really has not been shown. Maybe going in the second half in the locker room, Hartnett will get his team back on track and look to shake things up in this game heading into the second half.
Hansen lines up to kick it away with 30.7 to go here at Pekin Memorial Stadium. I want to thank all of our viewers here for joining us here at ClutchSportsIL.com. Kick is away, and it's got some backspin on it. Caught at the 38, and not much doing there for the Redbirds. They'll start the drive at the 43-yard line. And it looks like that was Connor Drowns trying to rip it out of the hands of the Metamora returner. That was an up man. Couldn't quite see who it was, but these Dragons team, they're fired up. They want the ball back with 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think that's been a huge difference in this game is the aggressiveness between the two sides. Pekin has just been showing since the start of this game that they are the more aggressive team, both offense and defensively, as just continued on that kickoff there. They have not slowed down despite being up 28-0 early on.
Real quick, want to say our upstream scoring drive, 5 plays, 41 yards in a minute 40 for the Pekin Dragons. Again, want to thank our great sponsor, Upstream, for sponsoring tonight's broadcast. Hartnett puts the man out in front, and Hartnett reverses field, and he may be free. Can he turn the corner? He's inside the 30, inside the 25, runs out of the 23. Big play there from Hartnett. 15 seconds left, and Metamora may have something cooking, Thatcher.
Yeah, Hartnett again showing off his running skills there, stops and sees a wide open hole and capitalizes on that as he gets his team into scoring position hopefully here as with only 15 seconds left, they will look to get their first points on the board before going into the half.
1st and 10 from the 23. Hartnett will pass here. Strong coverage in the secondary. Jump ball. Incomplete there. Looks like that was Connor Drowns, the senior, who has 2 picks on the year. Tipped that ball away and forcing a 2nd down.
Yeah, Hartnett's balls have been pretty accurate for the most part here tonight. Just coming up a little bit short.
Went top shelf there. His receiver couldn't quite get it. Looking for, I believe that was Noah Simmons.
Looked like he had good separation from his defender, just couldn't quite bring it down. The ball tipped his hands, it looked like.
10 seconds left to go here, so enough time to run off 2 plays. Metamora still has 2 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, definitely still enough time to get in the end zone here.
Hartnett rolls out, short pass in the flat, and out of bounds quickly. Looked like that may have been Nate Bartman, a senior wideout. So 2.8 seconds left to go. Doesn't look like the Redbirds will kick a field goal here. Hartnett may try and roll out, scramble for a touchdown, or also maybe heave it up for one of his receivers like Noah Simmons or Luke Ufile.
If I'm calling the plays here, I'm definitely thinking I'm leaving it up to Hartnett and deciding on rolling with whatever he wants to do here. If he feels confident he can pass it in for a touchdown, I let him pass it in. If he thinks he can run it in, I let him run it in. As there's only 2 seconds left, so there's not much risk.
Simmons at the bottom of the screen. Hartnett looks his way, and he was looking back the other way for Bartman again. This one, jump ball in the end zone, is caught!
Did he come down with it is the question.
Metamora celebrating. How about it? How about that, Thatcher? Metamora, that's just what the doctor ordered. Believe that was Bartman on the reception. He went up for it, came down with it. A lot of dragons in the air. You may have thought that he might have came down with that football, but credit Bartman, hangs on for 6. And just, seeing your sideline go crazy after that score, sees the points on the board, that's huge for Metamora going into the second half.
Yeah, definitely. That score was much needed here as they don't get shut out in the first half here. They needed that score. Hopefully it puts some momentum into the Metamora offense to keep that up, showing that they can score against this tough Pekin defense as they go for 2. Unsuccessful.
2-point conversion is no good, so it will remain 28-6 with time expired. So Thatcher, a wild first half. Pekin looking really good. Metamora gets a late touchdown from Nate Bartman from Caden Hartnett. But what were your takeaways from the first 24 minutes of action?
From this first half, my main takeaway so far has been the aggressiveness from that Pekin defense. They came out early and have been hitting hard and showing why they should be the focus point of this team and not just the offense. Another thing is that the run game for Metamora just hasn't been as strong as we thought it would be. After quarterback Caden Hartnett rushed for over 200 yards last week, there really hasn't been much else to capitalize on besides his few big runs he had. They had 7 total rushing touchdowns last week, Metamora, and so far they have 0 here in the first half, but surprisingly a passing touchdown.
And that passing touchdown is the culmination of our Uftring scoring drive for Metamora. The Redbirds went 4 plays and 57 yards in 30 seconds. Again, that scoring drive sponsored by Uftring. I want to thank them for their support tonight. And also from our great State Farm agents as well. Again, Zach Butler in Pekin, 309-347-3115, or online at sfbutler.com. And also talk to our other great partners, our good neighbors at State Farm as well. Jody Brown in Peoria at 309-693-1103 and jodybrown.agency.com. Or Jake Weston over in Washington at 309-444-4441. Pretty easy phone number to remember, if I do say so myself. Or you can visit him online at jakewestoninsurance.com. We'll take a quick break for a message from Uftring and come back with scores from around the area, analysis, and more live coverage of Metamora and Pekin here from Pekin Memorial Stadium. Stay tuned for the second half. You won't want to miss it.
Score the upgrade you've always wanted during the total sales blitz at every Uftring Auto Group dealer. New inventory is in stock at inbound, and we're taking custom orders every day. Plus, over 500 pre-owned, including fresh trades from our huge sale. UftringAutoGroup.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, your PCHS dance team. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the field where your very own Marching Dragons tonight will be performing the first 2.5 movements of their 2022 show entitled Shed. Please welcome Pekin Community High School Marching Band. It's proud to present in performance drum majors Cooper Herberger, David Fairchild, and Ridge Matthews, and the Marching Dragons.
Capital here to announce your 2022 Pekin Community High School homecoming court. First, we have our freshman homecoming.
Welcome back to Pekin Community High School here at halftime of Pekin and Metamora. I'm Jonathan Michael. Next to me is Thatcher Zalewski, and Thatcher, a pretty interesting first half here in Pekin. Before we recap this, we'll take you around some other scores from the area that we've gotten as well. Danville and Normal Community, a big game in the Big 12 Conference. That one is knotted up at 14. Centennial leading Bloomington at 28-0. Last update was in the first quarter, so Chargers get off to a hot start in that game. Farmington leads Rushville Industry 13-8 in the second quarter. Macomb up on Elmwood Brimfield. Eureka leads El Paso Gridley at 26-3 in the Heart of Illinois Conference. That's the first score that the Hornets have given up since week 1 of the season against the Canton Little Giants. Hornets on their way to go 6-0 if that result holds. Mercer County trailing, or Princeville trailing Mercer County by a score. DMAC looking to get their first on-field win of the 2022 season. They lead Tremont 40-0. Tri-Valley up big on Fieldcrest. Prairie Central winning 30-8 over Paxton Buckley Loda in a matchup of two state-ranked Illini Prairie teams. Obviously here the Pekin Dragons lead the Metamora Redbirds 28-6. And Thatcher, the Pekin Dragons the last couple years have been extremely dominant. Take a look at some of their stats.
Yeah, Pekin is a 5-0 start is their best start under head coach Doug Nutter's previous best was their 3-0 in fall of 2021, which was just last year. So a pretty successful start for these past 2 years for Pekin. They are 11-1 in their last 12 games, with their only loss being a 31-28 defeat in the playoffs. And then they're averaging 406 yards per game in 2022 here, 36 points per game, which leads the Mid-Illini, just showing off how good that offense actually is, led by Tanner Sprecher and Kanye Tyler in the backfield.
For sure, yeah, Pekin looking really strong, and for them, there would be 6-0 if they could hold on with a win here. The rest of their schedule, you know, obviously not to count anybody else out, but they've gone through the gauntlet. Pekin, they will round out their 2022 regular season with Canton, Limestone, and East Peoria, so a great opportunity for the Pekin to go into the postseason at 9-0 with a win here. But for Metamora, though, they got a touchdown right before the half ended. Caden Hartnett finding Nate Bartman for a 23-yard score, and Hartnett made it happen with his arm there, but he's going to make it happen with his legs the last 2 weeks, and that's why Metamora has been coming into this game hot.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier about the run game for both teams and how Caden Hartnett is actually leading the run game for Metamora right now. He has 12 carries, which is a team high of 231 yards just last week. 4 rushing touchdowns, which all were for at least 33 yards, and he went 5 for 8 passing with 51 yards and 1 touchdown, which was a 16-yarder, just showing off how strong of a quarterback and how athletic he is, just to be able to do all this just as a quarterback, a very important part to the Metamora offense.
For sure, 4 scores, and 7 days ago, Caden Hartnett put up a pretty big box score against the Canton Little Giants. And speaking of 4 scores and 7 years ago, there's a famous president that said that. That president was Abraham Lincoln, and I was talking with our graphic designer and co-founder Joey Wright. He came up with this amazing graphic and tied in Abraham Lincoln's ties to Metamora, the town itself. How about it, folks? Abraham Lincoln visited Metamora twice a year during his time on the circuit. From 1847 to 1859, Metamora Courthouse still standing today, and there's only one more of them that can share that honor as well. And Adlai Stevenson also practiced in Metamora as well, a big name that ended up being the 23rd U.S. Vice President. I believe that was under James Garfield. I'm no history major, as a reason I'm in sports communication, but certainly a lot of history in Metamora, a lot of history for their football program as well. As we near about 2 minutes left to go here before the second half starts. And Thatcher, Metamora got to score right at the end. You got to think that another score and striking first would be huge to start the second half.
Yeah, definitely after the failed two-point conversion, which you can't really blame Metamora for going for two, is looking to get a few extra points up going into the second half. But this second half will be huge for Metamora as they look to carry over the momentum they seem to found within the last few seconds of the second quarter.
Definitely, and before we get started, about a minute and a half left before we get underway here in the half number 2, we'll take a quick break for this message from Uftring.
In stock 22s, inbound 23s, fresh trade-ins. Score the upgrade you've always wanted during the total sales blitz at every Uftring Auto Group dealer. Bring us your trade.
I want to thank Uftring for sponsoring tonight's broadcast, for their support of Peoria area high school athletics. It's been a great high school football season around here in the 309. The Pekin Dragons, one of those teams that some people are definitely looking at from the River City area that could potentially reach state. And based off their performance here against a very strong Metamora team, you got to think that, with the score the way it is right now, that, Pekin, that I think that a deep playoff run is certainly in the cards.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Max Preps currently has Pekin ranked as their number 44th team in the state, and after the performance of Pekin keeps up, you got to think that ranking jumps up a bit. And in terms of a deep playoff run, I mean, like Jonathan mentioned earlier, they've kind of already ran the gauntlet of their schedule. So, not to count any teams out going forward, but it seems like an undefeated season could be in the cards for Pekin and a deep playoff run to hopefully win a state title.
Miley Hansen and the Pekin Dragons are ready to go here in half number 2. Metamora will go left to right to start the second frame.
And struggle picking that ball up there.
That was Frederick who struggled, and he's tackled at the 25. Big tackle there for Pekin. That was Elijah Hart. It looks like the junior. He's fired up after that tackle. So a somewhat long field for Hartnett and the Redbirds.
Yeah, this long field position could hurt Metamora, but let's see if that momentum they seem to found in the second quarter late carries over here into the second half. Hopefully they discuss some things at half that they need a change in order to hopefully get some more points on the board and get right back into this game.
Cameron Davis, their running back, would be a big part of that if they can get him going. This handoff, though, goes to Frederick. We will bullies his way for about 2. Handigan there in on the stop for Pekin defense. And for those of you just tuning in or maybe left the broadcast for a little bit, came back, Braden Beckham started this game for the Pekin defensive line in a big way. And the rest of his teammates have been really helping out a lot since.
Yeah, Beckham really set the pace early on with 2 big stops, just disrupting the plays. And it seems to resonate with the rest of his defense and the defensive line here as they're all contributing in some form to get these stops here.
And there's another big stop there. That's Handigan on back-to-back plays. Puts Hartnett right there on his backside. Right back to the 25-yard line. So gain of 2 on the first play and then a loss of 2. That will make it 3rd and 10. Metamora's had a lot of 3rd and longs tonight, Thatcher.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see the strategy coming out here for Metamora, considering they seem to have found some success passing the ball late in the second quarter, and they go with 2 run plays early on to start.
Trips left for Hartnett in the shotgun. He will look to pass here. Bobbles the snap. Open is Bartman. And that pass is picked off. The Pekin secondary is full of ball hawks. And there, that was Connor Drowns, his 3rd pick of the season. He is very excited to say the least. And Hartnett threw that one into traffic. Drowns read it the whole way.
Yeah, we mentioned at the beginning of the game how to not take your eye off this Pekin secondary, and we can see that on display right here with that interception. Their 8th of the year in just their 5th game.
Pekin's running backs are very strong. If you look at their defensive side of the ball, you can make a good case that the secondary is strongest as well. Connor Drowns joined by Cameron Hodgson, Kanye Tyler. They've made some great plays tonight and throughout the season. As this short run from Sprecher gains a handful, bringing up second and about 9 or so, 8 or 9.
Going back to that last play, it's definitely interesting to see what the quarterback saw there, as you know, he did see it have a receiver wide open and kind of just threw a bloop pass that got picked off.
Jordan hands it off to Sprecher. He weaves his way again. Can he beat those 2 men? Yes! Tanner Sprecher, throw your hats in the field, folks. That's a hat trick. 3 touchdowns for Sprecher and the Dragons. They lead 34-6.
Seems to be a common theme here with Tanner Sprecher and scoring quick. They give him the ball and he just pushes it and pumps it into the end zone there. As this early score in the 3rd is not a good sign for Metamora, as we thought maybe the momentum they picked up in the 2nd quarter would carry over here, and that just does not seem to be the case, as Pekin seemed to take that off.
Looks like the extra point there was tipped from Hansen. That was no good, so that will make her 4 for 5 on the night. Still a pretty good mark, though, for the junior kicker. Pekin leading 34-6. And after the Drowns interception, Tanner Sprecher finishes it off. And like you said, Thatcher, Sprecher, he is the workhorse back, and really more of the bruising running back to Kanye Tyler's quickness and elusiveness, but he has shown his speed as well. And we'll go quickly to our upstream scoring drive for Pekin. Another short one, 2 plays. They go 31 yards. It only takes them 33 seconds. 3 is wild for Pekin. That's number 3. We're talking about touchdowns for Tanner Sprecher. He has had a lot of them this year.
I think that's at least the 3rd touchdown of this game for Pekin that has been scored in under 2 minutes, which is quite impressive.
I think you would be correct, Thatcher. Again, no official stats in front of us, but keeping track of the drives here on this piece of paper I have in front of me, they have scored 3 times, actually no, twice in under a minute, 3 times in under 2 minutes, and Metamora on their side, they got a touchdown right before the half. That was Caden Hartnett, a jump ball touchdown to Nate Bartman. They went 57 yards in 30 seconds. So these teams blink and you miss them. But so far, fortune has favored Pekin more tonight.
Yeah, you don't want to count out Metamora just yet. There's still lots of football left to be played here as the Redbirds take over on offense once again. Hopefully this drive is a little more successful than the last one.
Hartnett hands it off to Frederick. He has got a decent hole, but it closes up quickly. That's been the story of the night for Metamora. There's been a lot of holes, Thatcher, but Pekin, they're swarming the football. A lot of hats on the ball. Just no more than 3 yards past the line of scrimmage almost every time.
Yeah, the Pekin defense has done a great job of recognizing that there are those holes and closing them up almost instantly, allowing for just a minimal gain for the Metamora offense.
3 wide receivers for Hartnett. He'll throw, no, he'll run. And he is lit up. Big hit there from Pekin, and Pekin, they have the football. Hopefully Hartnett is okay. He took a lick there. Coughs it up, and Pekin, all the momentum is on their side. And I think that hit was full of adrenaline there, Thatcher.
Yeah, that was a big hit, and it was just, not just going back to one of my takeaways of the first half, is just how aggressive Pekin is playing both offensively and defensively, as we see with that big hit there, causing a fumble and leading to Pekin just getting the ball right back after a quick score.
And they'll take over in Metamora territory. Second turnover forced by the Dragons here in the second half. Handoff goes to Tyler, and his speed is too much. Good luck defending that. One play, 37 yards, and Pekin is setting up their living room in the end zone tonight. How about that? Another one-play drive. Kanye Tyler, the hero this time, just went right up the gut, and before you knew it, he was already in for 6.
Yeah, Tyler is seeing his teammate Sprecher scoring all these quick touchdowns. Seems like he wants to join in on the fun and get one for himself there, as that was a one-play touchdown, as the kick is good for the extra point.
Kick is good from Miley Hansen, so that will make it 41-6. And folks, I don't know about you, but I don't think either of us, me and you, Thatcher, were expecting this. Pekin, we know, a very, very good football team, perhaps one of the best in the area, but, you know, Metamora just haven't quite had an answer for them. Obviously came in with a lot of momentum, but turnovers have hurt them and just really have struggled to get anything going on offense.
Yeah, coming in this game, I thought this was going to be a more close matchup with Metamora having some good momentum coming into this week. But it almost seems like that injury on the kickoff just kind of disrupted with that momentum from Metamora, as they just haven't been able to get anything going like you mentioned here.
Dragons get ready to kick it away. 41-6 is Pekin's lead here with 8:55 to go in the third quarter. Again, thanks for tuning in on ClutchSportsIL.com. Frederick takes this kickoff almost to the 40-yard line, so good starting field position for Metamora. But, I mean, it just seemed a couple plays ago we were talking that Metamora is still in this game, and not saying that they aren't right now, but it's a lot harder looking at a 35-point deficit, Thatcher. And again, real quick, just wanted to mention that tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Zach Butler State Farm here in Pekin for Auto, Home, or Life. Give Zach a call at 309-347-3115 or visit him at sfbutler.com. And tonight's broadcast is also brought to you by our other good neighbors at State Farm, Jody Brown in Peoria. Give her a call at 309-693-1103 or at jodybrown.agency.com, or Jake Weston in Washington at 309-444-4441. Pretty easy phone number to remember, or visit jakewestoninsurance.com. And off for Metamora, one of the bigger plays they've had so far tonight, still on his feet. It looked like that was Cameron Davis. So it's been tough sledding for him, but it was nice to get him about 7 or 8 there.
Yeah, nice run there from the Metamora offense, as that really hasn't been said much tonight, as the Metamora offense has only been gaining about, at the most, 1 to 2 yards per run. But finally, hopefully, that run sparks something for this offense.
2nd and 2, Hartnett looking to throw. He's being chased by Sprucker. What will he do with it? He loses the football. Hartnett falls on it. It'll be a big loss of 15. Thatcher, I'm not quite sure if that was a forced error or not. It looked like that ball just maybe slipped out of the hands of Hartnett. It's a tough angle to see from here, but nevertheless, however you dice it up, a big loss for the Redbirds. It'll be a 3rd and maybe not quite country mile territory, but pretty long ways.
Yeah, I think Hartnett just lost his focus there on that play. You know, had at least 2 or 3 defenders chasing after him there, and you know, take your eye off the ball, the prize for a second, and you know, these mistakes happen, and these fumbles for Metamora have been costing them a lot tonight, pushing them into territory where it's hard to gain a first down.
3rd and 16, Hartnett rolling out again. He's looking to the end zone for Simmons. Bounced off the hands of Drowns, who almost had his 2nd pick of the 3rd quarter.
And the motion Drowns is showing on the field right now.
He's pumped.
Yeah, and that play, he knows he should have had it, but he's still pumped up, and that adrenaline from that first pick almost led him to a second one there.
Almost. It bounced off the hands of Drowns, and Noah Simmons, the Metamora receiver, actually had a chance to catch it as well. That one bounced off his hands, and Metamora looks like might stay on the field here for 4th down, although Hartnett can kick the football. He kind of had an option punt, if you may remember from the first half. As you described it, Thatcher, it's like if there's a hole, you take it, but if not, kick it away.
Yeah, and that might be what they're discussing here, what to do, as they will be 4th and 16. Just a tough field. Oh, looks like there might have been a flag on the play.
They're marching in the direction closer to midfield, so this could be a break from Metamora. It's been a relatively clean football game. I haven't talked about that much tonight.
Yeah,
but
not many
flags.
Not many penalties, which is definitely a good sign. Means both teams are playing good, clean football, which is you love to see. And that penalty there, don't know exactly what it was, but it definitely helps Metamora here. It puts them at 4th and 1, definitely able to gain the first down. Or 3rd and 1, my mistake.
Yep, 3rd and 1. Wipe out that last play there.
Some more laundry on the field.
Our refs will discuss here. This one likely won't be a 15-yard call. We'll await the call from the referee. That's going to be neutral zone infraction on the offense. Don't see that too much. So Metamora march back 5 yards. So after all is said and done, it'll be a 3rd and 6.
Still really good. Still a good chance for Metamora to get that first down, as they don't have to punt the ball away now. As they got to the 1, but then that penalty cost them 5 yards. But definitely still room for them to get that first down here. The Pekin crowd getting loud.
Hartnett keeping it, and he doesn't get anywhere near the first down. Kanye Tyler the sack there, and the Pekin offense will take over. Our apologies, the scoreboard said it was 3rd down, and kind of tough to keep track of it with all the flags on the field, but it turns out that was a 4th down, and Pekin's offense will come back onto the field.
Yeah, Kanye Tyler getting it done on both ends, like we mentioned. He can do that, as he scores the quick touchdown and then ends the Metamora drive with a big sack to get Pekin back on offense here to hopefully add on to their lead.
And another drive that started in Metamora territory. This give goes to Sprucker, and oh boy, could he do it again? Sprucker free down the sideline. He does break the tackle. You just can't bring down Tanner Sprucker. Gavin O'Loughlin learned that the hard way. Thought for sure that he was brought down, but he made a spin move, stayed on his feet, got down to the 8-yard line, and just some ridiculous skills being shown by Sprucker tonight, and as well as Kanye Tyler. I am simply in shock.
Yeah, these two running backs have been really impressive tonight. Sprucker just continues to just be unstoppable here tonight. Saw his teammate Kanye Tyler with a quick score, and he tried answering with another one of his own, as that has been the theme for this Pekin offense: score quick.
And score quickly and score on the ground. All 6 of their touchdowns have been scored via that way. 3 of them came from Sprucker, 2 from Kanye Tyler. And the first one was a 5-yard keeper from quarterback Scotty Jordan. And there is a injured Redbird on the play there. But this Pekin rushing attack, Thatcher, we talked about, maybe they'll be able to throw it more with conditions, more favorable to throwing the ball rather than, playing in a downpour like last week. But we haven't really seen Scotty Jordan drop back and throw it too much, and he hasn't really needed to.
Yeah, I feel like head coach Doug Nutter there has kind of realized that, they don't need to pass the ball tonight. They have had so much success just running the ball, with finding these big holes and just leading these big plays for big gains. And that's kind of just been the consistent theme for this offense, and there really hasn't just been a need to throw the ball.
Take a look at the Mid-Illini stand-ins here in the injury timeout. Pekin leading the way for the conference. They're 3-0 in conference play, 5-0 overall. Dunlap, Washington, Metamora all tied at 2-1. Dunlap, they're playing the Canton Little Giants right now. You can listen to that game being brought to you by Clutch Sports Media on ESPN Peoria 101.1 FM. Haven't got a score update from there, but it seems like the Little Giants are keeping it pretty close, so certainly something to keep an eye on there. Cody Roskins, and former Dunlap football standout and current Bradley baseball player Jackson Chatterton stepping in as our guest analyst tonight. I want to thank Jackson for doing so. Washington, they're playing East Peoria tonight. And then East Peoria, Morton, Canton, all at 1-2. Limestone bringing up the rear at 0-3 in conference, 0-5 overall. But
Second down and 5.
second and goal for Pekin. Handoff here goes to Tyler, and he goes into the end zone standing up. It's become routine at this point for Pekin. Another rushing score. Mark that 3 for Kanye Tyler, and the lead continues to grow.
Yeah, we mentioned how Tanner Sprecher wanted to make this a game to remember. Well, Kanye Tyler is also doing just that with his 3rd rushing touchdown. This backfield for Pekin has just been unstoppable with quickness, strength, agility. They have it all here tonight. Everything is clicking for them.
Extra point is good from Pekin, so that'll make it 48-6. We're approaching running clock territory here at Pekin Memorial Stadium, something that probably not a lot of fans expected tonight, but Pekin, I would say, Thatcher, probably their most dominant performance of the year. And look at so far, they had a 56-20 win over Rock Island in week 1. We covered that on Clutch Sports Media. And Belleville East, they traveled away, won 33-22, picked up a win over Dunlap in what head coach Doug Nutter described as a very sloppy win. Nevertheless, the Dragons took that one 28-19. And they beat Washington 49-28 in week 4, and it took down Morton 14-7 last week. Certainly a special season brewing for Doug Nutter and the Dragons.
Yeah, you mentioned that special season, as this was a matchup that most people were circling on their calendars to look at for this year. And, you know, what could have been thought as Pekin's toughest matchup of the year is now looking like their easiest matchup, as they have a 42-point lead here with still a whole quarter and a half left to play.
No kidding, as Frederick from Metamora is pushed out at the 33 on the kick return. Let's take a break to remind you that tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Zach Butler, State Farm agent in Pekin. For all your insurance needs, whether that's auto, home, or life, give Zach a call at 309-347-3115 or visit him online at sfbutler.com. Also want to shout out our other great sponsors, Jody Brown in Peoria, and give her State Farm office a call at 309-693-1103, jodybrown.agency.com. And Jake Weston over in Washington, 309-444-4441, JakeWestonInsurance.com to hit up Jake from State Farm. First play from scrimmage of the drive for Metamora. Again, just a yard there.
So it looks like we have a new quarterback in the game for Metamora. Nick Rhodes, the junior, looks to be taking some snaps there after that hard hit to Hartnett might have taken him out of this game. And due to it just being such a kind of bad game for Metamora here, down big, you know, it kind of makes sense maybe get the junior some reps, see what he can do, as he might be taking over the helm at quarterback next season.
Certainly hope that Hartnett is okay. Again, there's always a chance that they may have just been taking him out because of the scoreboard right now. Hartnett was able to get up on his own power, so that's certainly a good sign there. But obviously, injury at quarterback, not what you want to see if you're Metamora, because that'd be deja vu, and if indeed that did happen to Hartnett, because last year Metamora's quarterback Connor Willerton was knocked out late in the season, was replaced by Solomon Schwartz. Both of those guys have graduated and were great players in Redbird uniforms for multiple sports. This year it's Caden Hartnett. That ball is a bad snap, recovered by Rhodes behind the 20-yard line. So a little bit of a miscommunication there for the backup quarterback and their center.
Yeah, Hartnett did make the move to quarterback this year. He was a wide receiver, and that kind of can be seen with his speed and athleticism as the quarterback with his legs, as he is able to run around the field and it is impressive and it makes sense that you would move kind of one of your more athletic players to quarterback when in need.
Now bring up a 4th and 23 here for Metamora.
Probably going to punt the ball away here.
They will indeed. Kanye Tyler, one of the meant to return, standing at his own 48. Although Martin will wait for the fair catch and makes it at Metamora's 46-47 yard line. And Pekin will start another drive in Metamora territory.
Yeah, that's kind of been the theme. It seems like here, a constant theme we've been saying is Pekin taking over in Metamora territory, as that defense, like we mentioned, has just been kind of the highlight of this game, just not letting Metamora and the Redbirds get anything going on offense.
And Metamora coming into this game, Thatcher, we talked about this on the car ride here over to Pekin. Their offense has really been hitting a high point, scoring 38 against Morton, 54 against Canton last week. Right now, Pekin has held them to just 6, and we talked about it in the open, how we can't figure out Pekin's defense, and I, gotta give them a shout out because they're making me look pretty good with the prediction there, I would say.
Definitely, and can't also take away from, they did lose this game, but they put up 22 against Washington. So their last 3 games, they have scored 20-plus points, and only 6 points to show for here tonight is definitely not something we were expecting.
Blake Youngren gets the carry rather for Pekin. Gain of just 1 on the play, and a new quarterback in for the Dragons as well. That's Luke Goss, the junior. So
The
head
punter.
coach, yeah, that is. You're right, Thatcher. That is the punter. So we'll see how his quarterback chops are as well. He's a pretty good punter. He'll hand off again.
Number 17, Blake Youngren there.
Now this is Youngren down inside the 30, still on his feet. Big run there of about 20 yards or so. The good momentum stays on the Pekin side as we are in running clock territory here in Pekin. There's already a couple cars driving away from the stadium. Pekin really has shown off all of their muscles tonight.
As you say, the cars have been driving away from the stadium. That's definitely, I believe, from the Metamora side, as the Pekin stands are still packed to the brim here for this homecoming game.
And why not if you're a Pekin fan? Obviously, it's a special season. Obviously brewing for the Dragons. You're playing Metamora. It's a homecoming game, and this would be the 3rd straight win in the all-time series for Pekin. Metamora leads the all-time series 15-5. So for a long period of time, it was all Redbirds, but recent showings have indicated that the Dragons are looking to draw that a little bit closer as the 3rd quarter comes to an end. Pekin up big. We'll come back with more coverage after this quick word from Uftring.
In stock 22s, inbound 23s, fresh trade-ins. Score the upgrade you've always wanted during the total sales blitz at every Uftring Auto Group dealer. New inventory is in stock and inbound, and we're taking custom orders every day. UftringAutoGroup.com.
I want to thank Uftring for being a great sponsor of tonight's broadcast and also supporting high school athletics. Pekin Dragons lead Metamora 48-6. Pekin, the number 5 ranked team in Class 7A, and with a performance like this, they may be going up a little bit depending on what happens in front of them. Metamora 3-2 coming in this one. All signs indicate they may be 3-3 after tonight, but Metamora, they will end with Limestone, East Peoria, and Canton. So both these two teams, Thatcher, end with the same 3 opponents, just in a different order. Metamora, though, still you got to think is one of the better teams in the Mid-Illini Conference. Pekin just with an all-time showing tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely think Metamora can rebound after this tough defeat it's looking like it's going to be. And you know, they just got to go back next week and to practice and figure out what went wrong here and rebound and hope to finish the season off strong, as they definitely have 3 winnable games in their next 3 weeks.
The Redbirds would need 2 more to become playoff eligible. Pekin can clinch a playoff berth with a win tonight. Obviously in the IHSA, 5 wins will get you qualified. 6 wins will pretty much lock it up. As this give goes to Harrison again. It looks like he got the first down, so move the chains for Metamora, one of their first downs of the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think probably Pekin has subbed some of their starters out and letting some of their backups get some reps and see what they can do, as, you know, it's a great time to do that and see what you've got on the bench, because you never know.
It's always good to also to keep your starters healthy as well. As this ball is fumbled, Metamora looks like they have it. That was our backup quarterback falling on that one there. So Redbirds keep possession. Now force a 2nd and about 12 or so.
Just another fumble here, and kind of have to start to question is like what is going on between the communication between the center and the quarterback tonight, as that is not the first time we have seen that, and I think that's not the first time we've seen that in this half here.
And Thatcher, see a face on the Pekin defensive end. Not only do the Dragons have Miley Hansen as a female on the team, but also as Grace Henry, the senior, in there. She is lined up at cornerback. You see her at the bottom of your screen. So how about that, Thatcher? 2 girls on this Dragons team. Hansen, a very, very strong kicker, great soccer player for the Pekin Dragons. And Grace Henry, she's getting a shot as well. So it's really great to see.
Yeah, it's definitely great to see Coach Doug Nutter there giving both of them a chance to like show what they've got on defense and see how they fare against some of this tough competition, some tough hitting there. As you know, Miley Hansen has done a great job at kicker tonight, only missing 1 of her extra points. She's definitely contributed her part to this eventual win.
Big tackle there from Elijah Hart. That's his 2nd one of the night. 3rd and 5 for Metamora with under 9 minutes to go here at Pekin Memorial Stadium. Again, thank you for joining us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. I want to shout out our crew tonight. Obviously, alongside me is Thatcher Zalewski, I'm Jonathan Michael, but Francisco Alonso, normally on social media, he's doing a great job producing this broadcast tonight. And up on our roof here in Pekin, we have Carson Williamson, and a brand new member of the Clutch Sports Media team, a Pekin student. His name is Teddy. We just met him today. We had talked about him, bringing him on staff. I still don't know his last name, so Teddy, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I didn't ask what it was before the game, but I want to give Carson and Teddy a big shout out, doing good work on our cameras tonight. And then also our videographer, Kenny, as well. Give him a look on Instagram. He's got some great content. It's my first time working with him as well. I'm sure he's doing a nice job down on the sidelines. Check him out on Instagram. I believe it's Kenny2Efficient, the number 2, although I will double check. Kenny does some fantastic work. We're excited to have him along here with us tonight.
So as Metamora attempted a deep ball there, broken up by number 39, Heath Hawkins, the junior. Impressive defense there. He swatted that one away. Looked like that might have gone for a completion, but Hawkins did a great job of making sure that did not happen.
Approaching 7 minutes to go here as the carry goes to Metamora 22. That's Cody Harrison again, so that'll force a 3rd down and medium.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 yards to go here for Metamora. You know, hopefully they can score here. You know, the physicality of the Metamora offense today has just not been there, as the defense has just been all over them here tonight.
What an outstanding performance from this Pekin defense. Braden Beckham set the tone early on. Connor Drowns had a pick, almost had 2 picks actually. Their linebacking core of Shimon Handigan, Braden Hoover, Tanner Sprecher, they were all over the place. So it didn't really matter whether Metamora was going short, middle, or deep down the field. Pekin had an answer for them.
And running back Kanye Tyler, who also plays as a safety, had a sack of his own tonight.
He did indeed, that's right.
Both Sprecher and Tyler have got it done tonight, on both sides of the ball.
Certainly have. His 4th and 2, extra effort from Harrison may have been enough for the first down. My initial guess is he is.
Ball carrier Cody Harrison.
Metamora putting the drive together. That will be a first down indeed.
Kind of have to think that Metamora might just be running out the clock here to kind of get this game over with and head into next week. You know, with only 5 minutes to go, they're going to try and run the ball out and just get that score so the loss isn't as bad.
And Metamora came into the second half with momentum. Caden Hartnett hooked up with Nate Bartman as time expired in the end of the first half, and jump ball in the end zone. This one is handled by Rhodes. He's got a lay-in. Rhodes down the sideline. He is in for a touchdown.
Number 10,
Nick Rhodes takes it 43 yards to the house.
Now, we were expecting maybe quarterback Caden Hartnett to have a rushing touchdown here tonight, but it is actually backup Nick Rhodes getting the first rushing touchdown of the game for Metamora, as that score is much needed, as hopefully it brings some happiness and maybe some life back into this Metamora team with still 4 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter.
I make the score 48-12, but a big run there from Nick Rhodes, the backup to Caden Hartnett. So keep an eye out on the junior QB. You just saw a scamper for 6 because he's looking well, looking pretty good.
Also have to give some credit to Metamora's student section here, still out there cheering on the team, even though this is not the best showing for Metamora.
A group that has dwindled in size, but still the faithful remain, as the PAT is good for Metamora. That will make it 48-13 with just under 5 minutes to go. And again, wanted to take a quick word to remind you that tonight's broadcast brought to you by our good friend Zach Butler, State Farm in Pekin. Give him a call at 309-347-3115 or visit him at sfbutler.com. I also want to shout out our other good sponsors, Jake Weston, State Farm in Washington at 309-444-4441 or visit jakewestoninsurance.com. Or also Jody Brown in Peoria as well, 309-693-1103 or visit jodybrownagency.com.
Kind of have to wonder what the score next week is going to look like for Pekin as they take on Canton, a team that Metamora actually defeated 54-20 just last week. If Pekin is playing just as well as they are against Metamora, you have to wonder how well they're actually going to perform against a team that Metamora had really a lot of success against.
Canton, though, they're responding well, at least it appears. Again, haven't got a score update from Dunlap yet. Again, our crew, Cody Roskins and Jackson Chatterton, our guest analyst, they're calling the game on 101.1 ESPN Peoria.
As Pekin is huddled up here, probably talking about how to handle this offensive drive. Probably not going to look to score, kind of just get those couple 1 to 2 yard gains and get the first down, just to kind of put the wraps on this game and head into the next week on a very, very successful performance.
This win would make Pekin 12-1 in their last 13. Again, Their only loss would have been against Hananiga, as that was Dante Strong for Pekin. That's the first time we've called his name tonight. So everybody getting some love on the Pekin offense. Big carry there for Strong. Puts the Dragons in plus territory.
Just mentioning how the Dragons might not be looking to score here with some shorter runs, but I don't think that was the intention there for that big run, but Strong just found a hole and ran with it.
Big run there. Now it's up at 1st and 10 from the 37. Luke Goss, the backup quarterback, is in. This is an end around to Brock Lavin, and he's past the sticks as well. Along the far sideline, knocked out of bounds at about the 20 or so. So back-to-back gains of at least 17. Pekin's ground game, just a well-oiled machine. Not much else to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the key takeaway from tonight's matchup, is that Metamora's just had no response to this backfield of Pekin and this has just been multiple players rushing for 10+ yards multiple times.
Under 3 minutes to go here in Pekin. Dragons on their way to go 6-0. Metamora will fall to 3-3 on the year and 2-2 in the Mid-Illini Conference. And we're trying to get scores from around the Mid-Illini as well, especially Canton and Dunlap, and also between Washington and East Peoria as well. Washington, a team that's 2-1, looking to maybe put some heat on Pekin, but it's going to be a very tough task to stop these Dragons. His handoff here goes to Strong again. He's got the sideline. He's staying bounds. He tight ropes it. The call, he was out of bounds at about the 7-yard line or so.
Tough to see from up here if Strong actually stepped out of bounds or not, but the official was right there on the call, so you kind of have to take his word and believe that he was. And, you know, I think something that hasn't been addressed too much tonight is that Metamora actually is tied for 2nd in the Mid-Illini Conference, and Pekin has just run all over them here tonight.
It'll be 1st and goal from the 6.
1st and goal here. Less than 90 seconds remain here in Pekin. The band begins to file out. Crowd begins to stand up. We'll see if Pekin get in the end zone one more time. That was Lavin there that tripped and fell, so we'll have to try again.
Going for another rushing touchdown, which has been pretty much all Pekin's done tonight. You know, Lavin slipped a little bit there, but probably wants to take that play back because he definitely believes he could have gone into that end zone to get 50 points here for Pekin, which would be their first time putting up 50 since week 1 against Rock Island.
Looks like Lavin, far touchdown. Far run to the near side.
It was actually Dante Strong with that touchdown.
I stand corrected, that was indeed Strong. So he'll punch it in with 40 seconds to go. So maybe a little salt in the wound there from Pekin. They now lead 54-13.
And that is the 4th different player here for Pekin to record a rushing touchdown here tonight. Both Sprecher and Tyler with 3. Quarterback for Scott Jordan for Pekin with a rushing touchdown of his own, which was the first score of the game. And now Dante Strong adding one of his own to make this homecoming game even more memorable for Pekin and their fans.
55-13, a dominant performance by Pekin, perhaps their most dominant of the year. Again, last time we saw them, Thatcher, was week 1 against Rock Island, where they won on the same field 56-20. So similar outcomes, and it's a team that isn't afraid to handle the bright lights of Clutch Sports Media.
Yeah.
Although I'll say that tongue in cheek. I don't know if we're that bright, but you know, we're glad we're out here in Pekin, and it's been a great night for football. Great weather as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, we might be Pekin's motivation / good luck charm for these games, as both times we've been here for their games, they've put up 50+.
They have indeed. And Thatcher, there's some teams that, when we show up, that usually traditionally they're a pretty good team, and, when we show up to broadcast the game, and obviously with us always trying to broadcast the best games each week, obviously, it is hard to, win, majority of times on Clutch Sports Media, since, there never really is a easy opponent. But there's a couple teams, though, that, can't handle the spotlight sometimes. Maybe I shouldn't say can't handle the spotlight, but, when going up against, real tough competition and kind of fall short. But Pekin, again, coming into this one, we knew it was one of their biggest tests of the year, and they delivered tonight. Clock will expire, and that will about do it. A big win.
Yeah, big 55-13 win for Pekin. The clock will expire. A great feel-good win here. As again, Metamora was arguably their toughest game left on the schedule. The student section is ecstatic, throwing confetti into the air as the band is rocking here. The stands were packed from start to finish.
It's a great night for football here at Pekin Memorial Stadium. The Dragons are victorious on homecoming. A massive first half. They led 48-6. They hang on for a 55-13 victory. And Metamora, really the story of this game, couldn't get anything going on offense. And that's certainly because of this Pekin defense. Metamora has lots of weapons, but obviously tough sledding tonight against Braden Beckham, Tanner Sprucker, and Connor Drowns and company.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it'll be back to the drawing board for Metamora for the next week. They kind of looked like they tried going for the same success route with having Caden Hartnett scramble and use his legs to his advantage, but Pekin's defense just had an answer for everything that Metamora put at them here tonight.
So I want to give a shout out to Caden Hartnett as well as Pekin's quarterback Scotty Jordan. If you didn't see, they appeared on our In the Clutch podcast this past week. Go and check it out on our YouTube channel at Clutch Sports Media as the Dragons get ready for a post-game photo, and they deserved it. They win 55-13. Here comes the Gatorade bath, and Doug Nunnery just got soaked. The Dragons go crazy.
Now they
and
are
deservedly
mobbing Coach Doug Adder as they are jumping up and down on their logo at midfield. Definitely probably the best win of the season for them as they now move to 4-0 in conference play and 6-0 overall.
Certainly showing why they're one of the top-ranked teams in the state in Class 7A. So keep it on the Dragons, folks. This won't be the last time you see them this year. But, again, I want to give a great shout-out to all of our crew here at Clutch Sports Media. Francisco Alonso did a great job producing tonight. Carson and Teddy up top running our cameras. Always a harder job when it gets a little colder here in late September, beginning of October, but nice job to them as well. And also check out our video highlights shot by at Kenny2Efficient. That's his Instagram tag. Those hopefully will be on our Instagram soon. And also want to give a shout out to our great sponsor, Zach Butler, one more time from Pekin. For all your insurance needs, give him a call at 309-347-3115 or at sfbutler.com rather. And then also our other great sponsors as well as the Dragons rush off the field
to celebrate with their student section. And that looks like it's an absolute party out there. The band and the crowd are rocking out to Sweet Caroline here.
Certainly, and also want to shout out Jody Brown from Peoria. Give her a call at 309-693-1103 or at jodybrown.agency.com. Zach Butler right there on your screen as well. Give him a call if you're in Pekin. Jake Weston if you're near Washington. Give Jake from State Farm a call at 309-444-4441. So that will about wrap it up from Pekin. A dominant Dragon victory. They say undefeated, go to 6-0. And thank you for tuning in. We'll be back for more with some live coverage of Central Illinois High School football next week here on Clutch Sports IL. Stay tuned to our social media for our schedule announcements. Excited to be wherever we end up going next week. So for my partner Thatcher Zalewski, I'm Jonathan Michael signing off on this one. Pekin wins big and stays undefeated. Have a good night, folks.